Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Emily, and I'm the president of Data Club. And welcome to our first meeting. So here's just a brief overview of what I'm going to go over in this meeting. I'm going to introduce the leadership, and then I'm going to go over the different facets of our club and different ways that you could get involved. So that includes speaker events, snowball, technical workshops, involvement, and then just how you could contact us if you have any questions after this meeting. So the four main facets of Data Club are snowball projects, which is part of our snowball accelerator. I will touch on later, networking events, speaker events, and technical workshops. Our mission is to promote data literacy in all disciplines. So that basically means to kind of look at data itself, and a lot of that encompasses data science, but it's not limited to data science. And we look at how that is applied in a bunch of different disciplines, from science to business to like sports, anything you could think of, we kind of look at it. And this is our e-board. So I'm president. We have two VPs, Alicia, who's handling Snowball, and Shreya, who's looking at starting up our consulting. Jason's our treasurer. Dee is our director of outreach. Roberto as PR. And then we have three Snowball advisors, Marco, Julia, and Wenting. Raja as workshop coordinator, Nick as consulting, and Christina as our social media coordinator. So the first facet of Data Club is speaker events. This is pretty like typical amongst a bunch of different kind of academically focused clubs, but I really like speaker events because it not only, we don't only bring in professionals from companies that might interest you guys, but those speakers speak about something that's very data centric and part of like kind of like their day to day. So we have companies like Sciencey, so like J&J, Medtronic, Genentech, but we also try to bring in people from a range of companies, so like DraftKings, KKR, and etc., going down that list. These events are really good. It allows you to kind of start a conversation. If you're interested in any of these companies, we usually give their contact information and you could message them after. So the next part is something that's been growing, like it's been growing a lot over these past couple of years. And that's our projects accelerator that we call Snowball. And so with this, you take on a semester-long or a year-long project and get to gain hands-on experience. And we cater to skill levels of like any skill level. And we kind of like guide workshops, we guide like little events, like office hours and all of that stuff to be able to try to guide you through a project. So it's almost like independent research, but with a little bit of help. And we also supply you with a platform to share your findings and insights at the end of the semester. And our first Snowball event, which we'll announce like again later, but is our Snowball matchmaking meeting, which is next Wednesday at 5 p.m. So what is Snowball? It is a hands-on project-driven approach to increase data literacy and enable students of all backgrounds to develop and apply practical skills in the world of data. And I mean, basically it's just allowing you guys to decide what topics you guys want to look at and find something that you're truly interested in, so that you're able to increase data literacy, apply data science in any field that you choose, and teach other people about your project at the end, which I think is pretty cool. This is the overview of Snowball. There's two tracks that you could kind of go on, the data science track or the data analytics track. Both of them are kind of overlapping. They're both pretty similar. But the big thing with the data science track is you're kind of focusing around machine learning, like deep learning, and like models like that. And the data analytics track is more towards data visualization. So both kind of like hold their strengths as like machine learning, like neural networks, like that's kind of like, as I can't even say it's up and coming because it's already like pretty big. But just like knowing the technologies that lie behind, like behind like machine learning, and that is super important. It's definitely resume worthy. But the visualization part is really interesting because it allows you to kind of like understand the data conceptually, which is something that a lot of people kind of overlook. But I could like guarantee that it is impressive to kind of be able to talk about these visualizations like in a very insightful way and really understand that data like the back of your hand. So there is value to both tracks. So phase one is intro/brainstorm. And that is going to like, that's what the next meeting is to kind of, and so that you kind of come to us with a topic or come to us with an open mind, trying to look for a topic to kind of hop on. And then you kind of just try to explore that topic further. So say you wanted to look into like previous groups wanted to look into like sports and like kind of like analytics then, and then you kind of try to narrow that down, right? And you go, like what sport do I want to look into? I think some groups said basketball, and then you keep on like narrowing that down until you find a bunch of like little project ideas and questions to answer. And with that, you kind of have to tailor that according to data science track or the data analytics track, the questions that you ask. Like that's kind of how you tailor your project. So you could look for which machine learning model like kind of models the data best, or you could look at certain insights that can only be gained through visualizations. So some example projects from past semesters are using machine learning to predict the severity of a natural disaster and visualizing data from the World Cup. So that first project I mentioned is more of a data science track project, and the second is more of a data analytics track. The next phase is conducting research and collecting data. So when you get that topic, that topic and that question you want to answer, you have to think about how you want to answer that question and what data could support you best. And then after you get that data, you really just want to get a good grasp of what the data is. So like, how clean is it? How much, like, are there any outliers and stuff like that, that kind of weaves into the exploratory data analysis bullet. Oh, okay. Did I skip one? Okay. This is like phase 4/5 is kind of like, I would guess it's the biggest part. And I apologize. I did not have the chat open, but I have it open now. So I will finish the phases and then I'll answer the questions in the chat. So phase 4/5 is just all your research, all your coding, like the majority of your coding, and kind of making like a really nice final product. And then phase 6 is like touching up your final project, your final product, and like making it like visually appealing. And then you'll be able to present it at the Data Expo. Or at the end of this semester, we're going to have a little colloquium type deal, and you could submit your presentations to Northeastern's RISE, which is, I don't know what it stands for, but you could, like, there are cash prizes and stuff like that. So now, before I go over this proposed timeline, I'm going to go over these questions real quick. So how big are groups typically? I would say like maybe 3 to 5 people. We try not to make them too big. And if you get like to 6 people, then we'll just split you up into like 2 groups of 3. If the groups get too big, it's hard to delegate work and have everyone do a substantial amount of work. Snowball is open to graduate students. We actually have had a lot of graduate projects that were really, really like interesting and insightful in the past. Graduate students are also able to like pair up with like undergrads, and like another, like the intermingling of undergrads and grads are also allowed. And yeah, so the group structure is really, it's going to be up to you depending on like the dynamics that like you kind of like sense when you guys first meet. The goal is obviously to have all this work spread like as close to equally as possible. That may not like be possible, but even if the skill levels range in a group, the goal is that like the people who are a little bit more skilled get that get some experience actually teaching the people that have like lower skills, and like getting to a point where you could kind of learn collectively as a group. The location of the snowball matchmaking meeting will be disclosed in the next email. It's, I can't tell you the exact room, but it's in the Egan Research Building. I feel like it's on the second floor, but yes, but we will definitely get back to you. Or if someone on eBoard could look that up in the last meeting notes, that'd also be nice. So these projects could be semester long or year long. We usually try to aim for a semester long project, and then if you want to expand on it over the next semester, you're able to. We find that like some people kind of like lose interest over winter break. And even if you do lose interest over winter break, it'd be really nice if at least you have a project that you could present well and that you could talk about in an interview or list on your resume. And then if you expand on it, that's even better. The estimated workload for a snowball project, that is also up to you. You kind of like get out whatever you put in. I would guess every week it would be at least an hour for meeting, because we, like, as you see, each phase is going to have a meeting associated with it. And those meetings will be like every week / every like other week and stuff. So like, yeah, so I'll have that. And then plus, if you like if your group is struggling and you want to reach out to your snowball advisor, or even if you just want to reach out to your snowball advisor in general and you want to work with them for like another hour. So I would say if you want to get something substantial, like I can't say this is a valid estimate, but I think like on one of my snowball projects, I spent like maybe 2 to 3 hours a week, but you have to stay consistent with it and make sure that your group also like is okay with that. And you'd get a pretty like good project that you're able to present. Thank you. Snowball meeting room is 206 Egan. And yes, meetings are typically on Wednesdays. However, if your group happens to have a conflict, you can try to schedule a different time with your snowball advisor. And Lauren, I'm on that. But you might have to send that again at the end. But yeah, so anyways, that handles all the questions, and I will keep my chat up so that we don't have to do this mass answering of questions again. So this is the proposed timeline. As you could see, like each phase like has a meeting. And we meet pretty close to like every 2 weeks, starting next week. And on the off weeks where you're not meeting, like when we're all not collectively meeting, you'll probably meet with your snowball advisor. Yeah, but I was planning on leaving this up for a little while so that you guys could take a screenshot if you wanted to, but I feel like this has been up for a while, so I might just go on. And the meeting to meet potential group members is next week on Wednesday, 206 Egan, at 5 p.m. But if you can't make that, we also have a snowball channel where you guys could just like text if you guys need groups or if you guys have ideas and need members. But yes. So the next thing is also meetings and office hours. So meetings will be every other Wednesday starting September 21st until November 16th at 5 p.m. with group stand-up and office hours. So the beginning is going to be like a stand-up. We'll go around every group and like share notable progress. If like a group runs into like a roadblock, maybe we'll all put our heads together and figure it out. And then afterwards, it's just a time for like, it's kind of like a scheduled time for your group to hang out and work on the code all together. And then also our snowball advisors will be like circulating around, making sure like everyone is like okay. You could like check in with them about any of those bullets under like office hours or ×2. And yeah, so like this is kind of just like to make sure everyone's on pace for the semester and just give everyone a time and a place to kind of like meet up collectively. Assuming that like, I'm not sure if you guys are, depending on the groups, if you guys will have time to meet in person that often over the semester outside of these. So these are the 3 like important dates for Snowball. Next meeting, which is next Wednesday. Oh, that's bad English. But September 21st. Next Sunday is the deadline for the group project proposal. So ideally, you guys will like find your groups between like Wednesday and Saturday, and then maybe spend Sunday like making your group proposal, or maybe even making it earlier. And then Wednesday, October 5th, which is like 2 weeks from our phase 1 meeting, is where we're going to kind of like talk about our phase 2/3, which is conducting research and collecting data. So I feel like we kind of touched on this already. If you guys have any questions about Snowball, you guys can feel free to unmute now. You guys could also send it in the chat, or just like stay back behind like after this meeting, and like ask us. Cool. So our next thing is technical workshops. We've had technical workshops in the past. I know I've done like a couple with like Tableau. We've done a couple with pandas, visualization techniques, with Python, so like Matplotlib and like Seaboard and stuff like that. But this semester, we're doing something completely new, and we're thinking, oh no, and we're gonna do a workshop series spanning over this entire semester. That is okay. You do not need coding experience to participate in the Snowball project. And actually, like I feel like we catered Snowball towards the people who didn't have that much experience, because it's really difficult to like even contemplate thinking about like going into like the industry, so even like applying for co-op if you didn't do like a project, or if you don't have like extensive like experience or anything. And this is like Snowball is a really good like place to like get your toes wet or dip your feet, and like work on a project. So you don't need any coding experience. You just need to be open to learning how to code. Oops. So next are technical workshops. So this is a workshop series spanning over the semester. And so if you come to like each workshop meeting, like by the end, you'll have your own project. It's just, this is different than Snowball because we're like walking, like we're literally like typing like with you, or like, well, we're walking you through it. So it's a little like less hands-on. And we also have a predefined topic, and that topic is spoken digit recognition. And so these workshops will teach you applications such as like just how to use GitHub. And then we're like, in order to do this project, we're going to need to use some neural networks. So that includes CNN, like regular dense neural networks, and like maybe a recurrent network, depending on how like time goes and stuff. Yes, this club is affiliated with the Data Initiative. But yeah, so that's our technical workshops, and I'm very excited about them. So here's like our involvement, just like how to get involved in all of our events. So the first thing is that everyone should totally join our email list, because that's our main source of like sending info out to you guys. If you guys haven't seen, I've been like texting in the Slack for reminders about events. But the mailing list is pretty cool too. And our speaker events would be on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. based on the speaker's availability. So if it's going to be in person, it'll be from 5 to 6. And then if it's remote, it'll be from 6 to 7. We'll send the details out like for sure, like over email. Snowball is every other Wednesday from 5 to 6, starting next week. And we will do our best to give you as much notice if the meeting's going to be on a day that isn't a Tuesday. The only times that it would be on a day that isn't a Tuesday is if we're collabing with another club. And yeah, so there'll always be an announcement of a meeting like prior to. So whether that's like me mentioning that there's a snowball meeting next week, or like just like on email. So just like make sure to stay active in our Slack, check your email and all that stuff. And talking about our Slack, oh, just kidding. That's our email list. But make sure to scan that QR code to either join the Slack or our email list, and follow our socials. Yeah, so I'll leave that up for a little bit because I think that's it. But if anyone has any other questions, they could pop them in the chat or like unmute. Oh yeah, there's the Slack. And let me know if you wanted me to go back to that last page. Yeah, so that is it. Cool.
Hi, could you hear me?
Yes.
One quick question, just double check if or anyone have a schedule conflict on Wednesday, we still could join the Snowball project by follow the email list, right?
Yeah, so if you follow the email list, and if you like join the Snowball Slack channel as well, you could still be able to join a group.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everyone has those 2 QR codes. I'm going to stop sharing. But yeah, through the QR code. Okay, wait. Let me share the QR code again, just in case. And then I'm sorry, I definitely shared the wrong screen. And let me get you like the actual Slack link, and then I can put it there. Invite people. And it is pasted in there. That the QR code must be bold. I should have checked it. Sorry, are the speaker events the same as the technical workshop series? So the speaker events are a little different in the sense of that we're bringing professionals from like the industry in, and they're going to talk about how like data is or like certain concepts of data and how they're used in their industry. So like we've had like Medtronic talk about how like certain like data things like machine learning algorithms or something was like used in like their surgical robot team. And we've had like Genentech come and just talk about like just normal like different types of regressions and different types of like algorithms and like their use. The workshop series is more of like us kind of like walking you through a project so that you could kind of like experience what it's like walking through a project, and then hopefully like you'll come back and do Snowball next semester. And just like kind of have that experience. So it's kind of like speaker events, you're just gonna listen, but technical workshop, hopefully you're coding alongside us.
When did you say the technical workshops were?
Okay, they're gonna start the week, like not this Wednesday, because that's a Snowball meeting. So the Wednesday after that. Let me see. So this snowball meeting, this Wednesday is the 21st, like not tomorrow, but the Wednesday after that. So the 28th. There.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And Redra is going to be the one running those workshop meetings. Yeah. Well, cool. So if you guys don't have any other questions, you guys are free to go. You guys are dismissed. And if you have any more questions, you guys could just stay on. We'll stay on for a little, like eBoard will stay on for a little longer, or I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll stop sharing. Yeah, so Red is exactly right. So you could join the Snowball Slack channel, which we will like open eventually, like after next Wednesday meeting, and you could just like text in there and be like, I'm interested in joining a group that's doing something along these lines, or I'm just interested in joining a group. So the data initiative is, I'm not gonna say it's like the same thing as this club, because it is very different. But if you were interested in being part of the data initiative, I can definitely, like, if you Slack me, I could definitely send you the contact info for like how to get involved. Because I believe you just have to like email them. Mm. Okay, cool. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm just gonna end the call. But you guys also have the contact slide, so if you have any questions, make sure to like you can contact us through like any like platform that we listed there. Or you could just like text any of the e-board or me in the Slack. Yeah.